Hello everybody, welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid and the first official midday ramble. Those of you who are loyal subscribers know that I do a morning ramble every morning. If I have nothing to talk about, I make something up. But you know, I've never done a midday ramble. It's almost noon right now. It will be, might be noon by the time this is uploaded. But I had something I want to talk about that I wanted to share with you that I just didn't want to wait until tomorrow morning. And it's about, you know, if you want to seriously start walking for exercise, because, you know, those of you who follow know that I run while I jog. Dearly walks, that's her main form of exercise. Dearly and I, and she's my beautiful bride if you're new to the channel, and our son Daniel, we love to go on family walks. For me, it's about time together with family. For her, it's that and exercise. Now, if you don't currently walk for exercise, but you want to, and you want to do it seriously, and you want to stay committed, you've got to make sure your socks never match when you're getting ready to go for your walk. Now, I took a picture of my socks yesterday before we went on our daily walk, and that's the one that I used for the cover image for this video. One's like got red trim, one's got green trim. Those are the socks that I walked in yesterday. And personally, my socks usually don't match when I run. But if you're just getting into walking for exercise and you want to do it seriously, make sure your socks don't match. Okay, the socks I'm going to wear today, and I'm not wearing any right now because I was grounding on my way up here into the meadow, who some folks have said they missed. So that's another thing that kind of inspired this midday ramble. It's beautiful, as you can see, the sun all around me. I'm going to give you that beautiful parting shot of the homestead you guys have been missing here lately because I've been doing the rambles in the woodshed because of the rain and the coyotes and the black bears. Oh my. So I came up here without any socks or shoes on, but I brought my socks with me that I'm going to wear when me and Dearly go walking here. We're going to wait for our son to come home so we can take him with us so we can have some good quality family time together. But you'll see one says Hanes, and then here's the other one. It says something else. It says Copper Fit. So they definitely don't match. Now, you want your socks to not match, and the reason behind this is because of cake, like these semi-instant cakes. Okay, here's why you don't want your socks to match if you're new to walking for exercise and you want it to become part of your life. Here's some history for you that they may not have taught you up at the university, but which I will teach you today with my crayon. And in case you're wondering, I thought it was green, but it's actually asparagus. Why not pine? Why not clover? Why asparagus? Well, I don't know. But anyway, the cake mixes. You guys probably love these. Dearly makes at least one of these a week for me. That's why I have to jog and exercise and get out here and homestead so much, because if I didn't, well, I would be in sad shape health-wise. So when these things originally came out in the early 1900s, okay, if I look at this one, you've got to add a cup of water, 1/3 cup vegetable oil, 3 large egg whites. These things sell like hotcakes. Okay, originally they didn't. And originally they were even more simple than they are now. The very first boxed cake mixes that hit grocery store shelves in the early 1900s, all you had to do was add water. Just add water, mix it up, put it in the oven, and it's done. Boom. The manufacturers thought, for sure, everybody loves cake. These are going to sell like crazy. Well, they didn't. You know why? 2 reasons. Number one, you've heard the saying, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Well, that's what people thought with this. And they thought, if it's that simple, how can it be any good? Number two, what they found is when they did a study as to why nobody was buying this, is that they found people actually enjoyed the activity of baking and cooking. They felt like when they put the eggs and the oil and all these other ingredients into the mix, They were putting themselves and their love for the people that they were going to share this cake with into the mix. Well, by setting it up to where all you had to do was add water and throw it in the oven, you were taking out the love. You were taking out the joy. Folks, they went back, they took everything off the shelf. With their next batch, they took out a lot of the pre-set ingredients, and they made it to where you needed to have a crayon now when you bake these cakes, because you had a checklist you had to go down. So you had to say, okay, 1 cup of water, check. I'm marking it off with my asparagus colored crayon, not to be confused with pine or clover, because it's asparagus, because Crayola says so. Okay, then you had to check off your 1/3 cup vegetable oil, and you had to check off your 3 eggs. Now, once again, people felt as if they were putting their love and their effort back into their project. It took them a little more time. They enjoyed the activity. And when the cakes came out of the oven, they saw that they tasted really good, and their family loved it. And thus, this is how most people now make cakes. Now, listen. Socks, matching socks. We have a tendency to complicate things. How do I word this? This is kind of, okay, you know what? Excuses. I shared in a video not too long ago, I took you guys for a run during the morning ramble. I'd put on my old shoes. I'd ordered new shoes that had not yet come. When I walked down to the gate that morning to take my son to the bus stop, he catches the bus there. There was a box there, and it was my new shoes. I mentioned in that video, I did not sit down and take off my old shoes and put on my new shoes, even though I'd been excited about these new shoes coming in, and I was excited for the first time to run in them. I went running in my old shoes because I feared that if I sat down to change shoes, the chair would be too comfortable. Secondly, I felt that if I put on brand new shoes, they looked so good. The grass was wet that day. I wouldn't want to get them wet. And I'd recently just cut a lot of grass. I didn't want to get wet grass all over my shoes. Basically, excuse. I just saw an opportunity for excuses to unfold and to me not go out and take that run. I just saw myself not putting the old shoes back on and going out and running. So I put the box on the porch, and with no further hesitation, I ran. I got my run in that day. I wore the new shoes the next day. Guys, Dearly loves to walk. She loves to do it for the exercise as much as she does the family activity. I know how important it is to her, and I'm kind of like that guy who kind of encourages her and pushes her a little bit, like on the days when she comes up with all these excuses to not do it. I say, come on, hon, come on, hon. I drag her out the door, kind of like yesterday, and every time I do it, 3 minutes into our walk, if that, 2 minutes into the walk, she thanks me for having done that for her. And by the time we're done, she feels so much better. The rest of the day, she loves it. She sleeps better at night, and she thanks me for giving her that nudge. Guys, just the other day, the excuse she was using for not going for a walk was because her socks didn't match. I guess all the socks were mismatched in the sock drawer. She couldn't put 2 together that matched. I grabbed 2 socks that didn't match. I said, honey, it doesn't matter. We're going for a walk. You know, most people don't get this, but you should wear your socks inside out anyway, because, you know, the sewing thing is on the inside, the seam where they go together. If you're new to walking or jogging, that'll put blisters on the end of your toes. Don't care if your socks match or not. Go out of your way to make sure they don't. Be a rebel and turn them inside out so you don't get blisters, okay? It wasn't necessary to take the oil and the water and the eggs out of these cake mixes, but people have a tendency to just complicate things. And guys, you're walking for your life. If you want to get into this and do it for exercise and take it seriously, never let your socks match, okay? Now, I'm going to go back down there after I give you a beautiful shot of the homestead, because you guys have missed it. I've missed it. And I've got a lot of homesteading to do. I'm going to wear a different pair of socks when I put my boots on. I'll turn them inside out, and I'll make sure they don't match, okay? Because that's me kind of connecting with you guys for when you go for your walks later today with your socks that don't match that are turned inside out, okay? Then come home and bake a cake and enjoy it, because if you're out there doing something physical, burning some calories, you deserve to eat what you want as long as it's not in excess. You know what I'm saying? So, with no further ado, here's a beautiful parting shot of the homestead that you've been missing because of the rain and all these things and the darkness and the coyotes and the bears. You can't see it, but I just saw a couple of deer run deeper into the woods here. They were standing right behind me. I don't know, maybe you got a glimpse of them as I stood up. So I hope you enjoyed the very first ever midday ramble. Thanks for being with us here at Homesteading Off the Grid, and we'll see you for more next time.